Good day everyone, we are the Group 8 and we're going to discuss the topic in Chapter 8 which is about investment management. I'm Jillian Medi Tamparong and here are my group mates. Kirimit Catherine, Seralta Kailin, Ebrada Marinel, and Rivera Benedict Rion. To begin with, I will discuss the investment criteria, options, and strategy. Investment criteria. When a company finds itself in a rapid growth situation, its investment criteria become more circumscribed. The company typically burns through its cash reserve quite rapidly, so the investment liquidity must be extremely high for rapid access to it. Unfortunately, high liquidity is commonly associated with low investment returns. Therefore, the treasurer is forced to invest in low-yield investments. Additionally, the company cannot run the risk of losing its investment because it is critically important to keep cash available to feed the company's growth engine. Since risk is also associated with return, the treasurer must once again favor low-yield investment for minimal risk. For example, in financial performance, the investor would look at the company's financial statements, including its revenue, profit margins, cash flow, and debt levels. They would assess if the company has a solid financial track record and is generating consistent and growing profits. Similarly, in market potential, the investor would analyze the market size, growth rate, and competition in the company's industry. They would assess if the company has a competitive advantage and if there is a potential for future growth and profitability. Investment options. There are several low-risk investment options available within the noted boundaries. These options have short maturity dates and high marketability. First is the banker's acceptance. Bankers' banks sometimes guarantee or accept corporate debt, usually when they issue a loan to a corporate customer and then sell the debt to investors. Because of the bank guarantee, they are viewed as obligations of the bank. Here's an example scenario involving a banker's acceptance. Let's say Company A needs to import goods from a foreign supplier. The supplier requires payment upfront, but the Company A doesn't have the necessary funds available at the moment. However, Company A has a good reputation and a strong financial standing. To facilitate the transaction, Company A approaches their bank, Bank X, for assistance. Bank X evaluates Company A's creditworthiness and agrees to provide a guarantee of payment to the supplier on behalf of Company A. Bank X issues a banker's acceptance, which is a financial instrument or a type of promissory note. The banker's acceptance is a liability for Bank X and an asset for Company A, as it represents Bank X to promise to pay the supplier on a future date. The banker's acceptance includes the details of the transaction, such as the amount to be paid, the maturity date, and the instruction for the supplier to present the acceptance for payment on the due date. With the banker's acceptance in hand, Company A provides it to the supplier as proof of payment. The supplier can then present the acceptance to the Bank X on the maturity date for payment. This ensures that the supplier will receive payment at a future date specified in the acceptance. In this scenario, the banker's acceptance serves as a form of credit for Company A, allowing them to proceed with the import transaction even without immediate funds. It also provides assurance to the supplier that payment will be made as agreed upon. Overall, bankers' acceptances are commonly used in international trade and can help facilitate transactions between importers and exporters by providing a secure payment mechanism. Next is the bonds near maturity dates. Corporate bonds are long-term investments, but you can always purchase a bond that is close to maturity. This is a low-risk investment since there is a minimal risk of loss or gain on the principal amount. The value of the bond is unlikely to be affected by any significant change in interest rates during the short time period before the maturity date. Another type of investment is municipal bonds, which do not have any tax on the interest income, though this reduction in liability may come with a lower yield in comparison to other types of bonds. Option 2. Sell in the secondary market. Alternatively, Sarah can decide to sell the bond in the secondary market before its maturity date. The bond market's value may vary based on factors such as changes in interest rates, the credit rating of the issuer, and investor demand for government bonds. Here's an example to further illustrate the scenario of bonds near maturity dates. Let's say an investor named Sarah purchased a government bond from country A 5 years ago. The bond has a maturity period of 10 years, and now it is approaching its maturity date. As the maturity date nears, Sarah starts considering her options regarding the bond. She can choose to hold onto the bond until maturity, sell it in the secondary market, or explore any early redemption options offered by the government. Option 1. Hold till the maturity. If Sarah decides to hold onto the bond until maturity, she will continue to receive regular interest payments as per the bond's terms. These interest payments are typically fixed and predetermined. At the end of the bond's maturity period, Sarah will receive the full face value of the bond. Next is the commercial paper. Larger corporations issue short-term notes that carry higher yields than on government debt issuances. There is also an active secondary market for them, so there is no problem with liquidity. Commercial paper is generally not secured. However, staying with the commercial paper issued by the blue chip organization minimizes the risk of default. Most commercial paper matures in 30 days or less and rarely matures in greater than 270 days in order to avoid the registrations requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). Commercial paper is issued at a discount, with the face value being paid at maturity. Commercial paper provides flexibility for companies that require short-term funding and offers a relatively low-cost borrowing option compared to traditional bank loans. Institutional investors such as banks, money market funds, and pension funds often invest in commercial paper as a way to earn short-term returns while maintaining liquidity. It's important to note that the commercial paper market operates on a large scale and involves various issuers and investors. The terms, interest rates, and credit ratings of commercial paper can vary depending on the issuing company's financial strength and market conditions. Money market fund. This is a package of government instruments usually composed of treasury bills, notes, and bonds that is assembled by a fund management company. A popular example of a money market fund is the Vanguard Prime Money Market Fund. It is a low-risk investment option that aims to provide stability and competitive yields. The fund invests in high-quality short-term money market instruments issued by the U.S. government, financial institutions, and corporations. It offers investors the opportunity to earn a higher return compared to traditional savings account while maintaining liquidity and stability. Repurchase agreement. This is a package of securities, frequently government debt, that an investor buys from a financial institution under the agreement that the institution will buy it back at a specific price on a specific date. Party A receives the funds from Party B, which they can use for their short-term funding needs, while Party B holds the security as collateral. On the agreed maturity date, Party A purchases the security for reimbursing the initial sale price plus interest to Party B. In this example, Party A benefits from short-term financing, while Party B earns interest income on their lending. The security acts as collateral, reducing Party B's risk in case Party A fails to repurchase the security. Repo agreements are widely used by financial institutions to manage short-term funding requirements and adjust their liquidity positions. Next is the United States government issues a variety of notes with maturity dates that range from less than a year, U.S. Treasury certificates, to several years notes to more than 5 years bonds. Investment strategy. The treasurer should develop a standard methodology for investing funds. This goes beyond the selection of type of investment and enters the realm of strategies that can range from being passive and requiring no attention, those that are quite active and call for continuing decision making. This section describes a range of possible investment strategies. In simple terms, an investment strategy is like a roadmap for how someone wants to invest their money. It helps them make informed choices about where to invest, how much to invest, and when to make changes to their investments. Next is the earning credit strategy. At the most minimal level of investment strategy, the treasurer can do nothing and leave idle balances in the corporate bank accounts. This is essentially an earnings credit strategy since the bank uses the earnings from these idle balances to offset its service fees. If a company has minimal cash balances, then this is not an entirely bad strategy. The earnings credit can be the equivalent of a modest rate of return, and if there is not enough cash to plan for more substantive investments, leaving the cash alone is a reasonable alternative. Next is the matching strategy. A matching strategy simply matches the maturity date of an investment to the cash flow availability dates listed on the cash forecast. For example, ABC Company's cash forecast indicates that $80,000 will be available for investment immediately, but must be used in 2 months for a capital project. The treasurer can invest the funds in 2-month instrument such that its maturity date is just prior to when the fund will be needed. This is a very simple investment strategy that is more concerned with short-term liquidity than return on investment, and is most commonly used for firms having minimal excess cash. A laddering strategy involves creating a set of investments that have a series of consecutive maturity dates. For example, ABC Company's cash forecast indicates that $150,000 of excess cash will be available for the foreseeable future, and its investment policy forbids any investments having duration of greater than 3 months. The treasurer could invest the entire amount in a 3-month instrument since this takes advantage of the pre-sustainability somewhat higher interest rates that are available on longer-term investments. Next is a tranche cash flow strategy. Requires the treasurer to determine what cash is available for a short, medium, and long-term investment, and to then adopt different investment criteria for each of these investment tranches. The exact investment criteria will vary based on the company's individual needs, but here is an example of how the tranches might be arranged. Short, medium, long-term tranche. The duration or maturity in short-term tranches have relatively shorter durations or maturities compared to medium-term and long-term tranches. They typically range from a few days to a year or less, while For the maturity of medium-term tranches, they have intermediate durations of maturities. They generally range from few years. They generally range from a few years to a decade or more depending on the specific transaction, while the duration or maturity of long-term tranches have more extended durations or maturities compared to short-term and medium-term tranches. They can span over several years, often more than a decade. Riding the yield curve is a strategy of buying longer-term securities and selling them prior to their maturity dates. This strategy works when interest rates on short-term securities are lower than the rates on longer-term securities, which is normally the case. Riding the yield curve strategy is an investment strategy where an investor takes advantage of the relationship between the maturity and the yield or interest rate or fixed income securities, such as bonds. Credit rating strategy. Investors evaluate the credit ratings of bonds or debt securities before making investment decisions. They typically aim to invest in securities with higher credit ratings, which are considered to have lower default risk. This strategy prioritizes safety and stability by focusing on investments that are perceived to be less risky. Under a credit rating strategy, the treasurer buys the debt of a company that may be on the verge of having its credit rating upgraded. By doing so, the investment ends up earning a higher interest rate than would other investment with a comparable credit rating. This strategy works best when the treasurer is very familiar with the debt issuer and has some confidence in his credit assessment. However, the company's stated investment policy may prevent the treasurer from buying debt below a fairly high credit rating, which eliminates this strategy from consideration. Also, it is difficult to time a possible credit rating. Also, it is difficult to time a possible credit rating upgrade to be within the term of an investment. And finally, delving into a lower grade debt increases the risk of an outright default on payments by the debtor. For all of the investment strategies noted here, the treasurer must closely monitor the credit rating of the debt issuer. A credit downgrade can result in a substantially lower return to the company if the treasurer needs to sell the debt prior to its maturity date. The strategies outlined here involve a broad range of ongoing investment activities. The more active ones call for additional staffing that the Treasury Department may not have available. If so, outsourcing investment management, as noted in the next section, may be a viable alternative.
Good day. My report is all about outsourced investment management. First, what is the meaning of this? It is known as delegated investment management or outsourcing investment services. It is a practice where individuals or organizations hire external professionals or firms to manage their investment portfolios. So what this means is that yung mga company is nag-hire sila ng mga professionals na nakakaintindi sa mga pasikot-sikot na investment to avoid possible losses. This organization choose to have an outside company man that manage its investments instead of handling them individually. This involves the professional handling of different types of assets like stocks and bonds to meet specific financial goals. Next is risk reduction strategy. It is a method or approach used to minimize the potential negative impact of uncertain events. It focuses on reducing the likelihood or severity of risk. For example, is spreading investment across various assets, industries, or geographic regions to reduce the impact of a single event on the overall portfolio, which by implementing these risk reduction strategies, businesses and investors aim to protect themselves from adverse events enhance and enhance the overall resilience of their operation and portfolio. So, ibig sabihin po nito is, dahil nga sa paglilipat or paglalagay ng mga investment funds sa different um, places, na-avoid yung biglang pagkawala na lang nung lahat ng ininvest. Instead na lahat is mawala, nagkakaroon ng safe space yung investment mo kasi sa iba-iba siya nakalagay. Last is the accounting for investments. A company will normally invest in marketable securities so that it can more easily liquidate its investment. Marketable securities are investment that can be easily liquidated through an organized exchange like New York Stock Exchange. For accounting purposes, marketable securities must be grouped into one of the following three categories at the time of purchase. First is the available for sales, which means is the category includes both debt and equity securities. Second is the held to maturity. This category includes only debt securities for which the company has both the intent and ability to hold them until their time of maturity. Third is the trading securities. This category includes both debt and equity securities that the company intends to sell in the short term for a profit. Means yung ibebenta agad yung um, securities or para sa mabilisang kita. Next is transfers between available for sale and trading investments. An investment designated as a trading security can be shifted into the available for sale portfolio of investments with no recognition of a gain or loss on the value of the investment. Next is the accounting for investments in debt securities. A debt security can be classified as either held for trading or available for sale or as held to maturity. Next is transfer of debt securities among portfolios. The accounting for transfer between debt securities portfolio varies based on the portfolio from which of the accounts are being shifted, with the basic principle being that transfer are recorded at the fair market value of the security on the date of the transfers. Next is the recognition of deferred tax effect on changes in investment valuations. A deferred tax benefit or tax liability should be recognized alongside the recognition of any change in their value of investment listed in either or trading or available for sale portfolio. Next is the tax impact varies by investment type. It is noted as follows. First is the gains or losses on the trading portfolio. The deferred tax effects is recognized in the income statement. Last is the gains or losses on the available for sale portfolio. The same treatment as noted for gains or losses on the trading portfolio, except that taxes are noted on the other comprehensive income section of the income statement. That's all, and next reporter.
Hi everyone, I am Marna Labrada and I'm going to discuss investment journal entries. So, investment journal entries help track the financial transaction related to buying, selling, or changes in value of investment assets in accounting books. So, in terms of accounting for marketable equity securities, one example is the investment designated as held for trading. So, it means it is recording an investment intended for quick profit through trading in the short term. So, ito yung pagbili ng stocks na balak agad ibenta para kumita ng mas mabilis. Isa siyang strategy ng ibang mga companies para magkaroon ng instant profit sa pamamagitan ng trading. Next is the accounting for investment in debt securities. So, accounting for investment in debt securities involves recording and reporting financial transactions and value changes for bonds, notes, or other debt instruments. It is like tracking the money side of debt investments. One example is initial investment designated as held for trading. So when you initially invest in debt securities with the intention to trade them for a profit in short term, you make a record of it as held for trading. Example, you buy bonds worth $10,000 with the intention to sell them in a few weeks for a profit. You need to record this initial investment as held for trading. In simple terms, it's about noting your plan to buy and sell certain investment quickly to make a profit. So next is transfer of debt securities among portfolios. The transfer of debt securities among portfolio refers to the process of moving or shifting ownerships of debt securities from one investment portfolio to another. So this can occur within the same entity or between different individuals or organization. One example is shift investment designation from the available for sale debt security portfolio to the trading debt security portfolio. So when a company moves a debt investment from its hold for future portfolio to a trading portfolio, they have to note its current value on that day. The first entry acknowledges a loss if the value dropped, and the second one records a gain if it went up. So it is important because it keeps the company's financial records accurate and reflects the investment real-time worth. Another example is shift investment designation from the held-to-maturity debt security portfolio to the held-for-trading debt security portfolio. So, when you change an investment from a hold until maturity plan to a trading plan, you need to adjust the records. So, first thing that you need to do is to note any losses from the original plan. This is because now it's considered a trading investment and losses affects earnings. Second, note any gains. This recognizes the profits made before the change. In the trading plan, these gains impacts earnings. In short, when you switch plans, you account for any gains or losses to show the real impact on the company's money situation. Then last is investment reporting. So an investment report is like a money snapshot. Ito yung nagpapakita kung magkano yung in-invest, kung gaano kahalaga ito ngayon, at kung kumita or nawalan ka ng pera. Kung may kasamang utang sa iyong investment, maaari rin itong sabihin kung kailan mo kailangang bayaran ang mga ito. So, this report is like a financial GPS, helping you see where your money is and decide what to do next. It's a quick and clear map for your money journey. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kaylin Carillo Suralta, and this is the continuation of Ebrada's report. Record proposed investment and duration on the cash forecast. It provides clarity and transparency. It ensures that all details of the investment, including amount and time frame, are explicitly documented alongside the projected cash flows. So this simple practice helps para maiwasan yung any misunderstanding about the investment specifics. The importance in enhancing control over decision making, fostering accountability, and facilitating effective financial planning by integrating investment information directly into the cash forecast. It serves as a practical step to align strategic investment decision with the overall financial outlook. The next is obtain approval of investment recommendation. Getting approval for an investment recommendation involves having a manager sign up directly on a cash forecast. Placing the approval signature on the forecast allows the approver to not only verify the forecast accuracy but also evaluate the proposed investment. This ensures that the decision maker has all the necessary information to confirm the recommendation correctness. The simplicity of this process streamlines the approval, enhances accountability, and provides a clear link between the financial forecast and the investment in decisions. So, minimizing potential errors or oversights in the approval process. The next is obtain and document codes for each investment. Dito naman is to ensure the best investment rates. It essentials to obtain and document codes for each investment. Minsan kasi yung investment officers is nag-stay lang sila sa private bank, even if its rate are not the most competitive. To overcome this and encourage seeking the best options, a quotation sheet is used. This simple form prompts the investment staff to gather multiple quotes, promoting competition and ensuring the best rate is chosen. So, the importance in optimizing returns is avoiding contentment through well-known options and establishing a clear process to secure the most favorable investment terms. The next is issue a signed investment authorization form to the issuer. For banks to invest company funds, a signed investment authorization form is very important. From the company side, this form ensures that the right level of management has approved the investment. Kumbaga, formal agreement siya, indicating the company's consent to the investment and providing a necessary document for the bank to proceed. The importance in establishing a clear, documented approval process, preventing unauthorized investment, and maintaining accountability within the company management hierarchy. It's a fundamental step to ensure the investment aligned with the company's strategy and have a necessary approval in place. The next is match authorization form to transaction report. Matching the signed authorization form to the bank's transaction report is very important kasi it allows the company to verify if the bank followed the approved investment instruction correctly. This process ensures that funds are invested as intended and helps catch any errors or omissions. By aligning the authorization with the transaction report, the company can track and confirm that the bank executed the investment in accordance with the approved terms. This verification step is very important for maintaining accuracy, preventing potential financial discrepancies, and ensuring that the company's investment strategy is implemented as authorized. Next is forward records accounting for storage. To minimize the risk of tampering or hiding inappropriate investments, it's important to have a system in place. By promptly providing investment authorization documents to accounting for secure storage, the company creates as a safety place. Then accounting staff date stamp each set of documents upon receipt. This timestamp reserves as a record for internal auditors to check if any document were delayed inappropriately. Essentially, it adds the transparency and accountability, making it harder for someone to manipulate records after the fact. The importance in maintaining the integrity of financial document is to prevent unauthorized changes and ensuring a reliable trail for audit purposes. In addition to the basic process flow just noted, the following controls are also useful for ensuring that the document invested were actually brained and stored. Periodically match the approved cash forecast, quote sheets, and investment authorization to actual investment completed. Dito naman is, importante na regular chine-check kung yung pera na ininvest ay kung match pa dun sa pinagplanuhan at kung ano yung na-approve. Even if the papers looks fine, there's a chance someone might use the funds for a different unauthorized investment. To catch this, the internal audit department should compare all the paperwork with the actual investment reported by the entities involved. This helps ensures that the investments are on track and in line with the approved plans, preventing unauthorized shifts and maintaining financial integrity. The last is assign securities custody to the independent party. Assigning securities custody to an independent party means letting another trusted entity hold and protect your investment. This is a common because it provides a higher level of control and security. If someone's securities need to be kept on site, make sure the person securing them physically is different from the one managing the accounting records. This separation prevents potential conflicts of interest and helps maintain accurate financial records, ensuring transparency and accountability in managing the company's asset. Investment management policies. An investment policy is used to define the risk of the company is willing to tolerate and define the exact types of investment vehicles to be used or not used. Think of an investment policy as a set of rules a company follows the management its money wisely. It decides how much risk is okay and what kind of investment can be chosen. When it comes to how quickly they can turn investment into cash or liquidity, the policy might say everything needs to be sold right away or that a certain percentage must be easily sold. A second policy is criterion is risk. It is about how much risk a company is willing to take with its money. Some companies prefer to avoid risk altogether, putting their extra money into safe investment like U.S. government securities, even if it's earning less. On the other hand, some companies actively seek to make a good portion of their profits from investment. Regardless of the approach, it's important for a company to clearly define the types of investment it can use. This helps the person in charge of the company's money or the treasurer stay focused on specific investment choices instead of considering a wide range of options. The last policy criterion is about kung magkano perang ine-expect ng company na ma-earn nila galing dun sa investment. However, when it comes to short-term investment, it's suggested that this should be the least important factors among three criteria. It's more important for a company to have a lot of cash available or liquidity and to minimize risk. While earning a good return is nice, especially in a long term, for short-term investment, it's better to prioritize having quick access to cash and avoiding unnecessary risk. Kapag yung company mas nagpo-focus sa earning money, dapat aware sila na hindi short-term investment ang best place para them, as they have less time to recover from changes in the financial market. Investment in debt securities accounting. Kapag ang isang company nag-invest sa debt securities like bonds, it might choose to categorize some as held to maturity. This means they plan to keep them until they mature. The company may face gains or losses on this investment, but if they label them as held to maturity, they won't immediately show these changes in value on financial statement. Pero kapag ang company ay regularly inform its board of directors about the potential gains or losses, that would be recognized if the securities were treated differently. This helps the board stays informed about any pending gains or losses and ensure transparency in financial reporting. Yung importance in keeping the board aware of the financial situation and any potential impacts on the company's overall performance. The next is kapag yung company can label certain debt investment as held to maturity, meaning they plan to keep them until they mature. However, this can only happen if the company already has enough other investment to cover their short-term cash needs. The importance of this policy is to ensure that the company doesn't find itself in a situation where it has to sell this long-term investment early just to meet immediate cash needs. By making sure there are sufficient other investment to cover short-term cash requirements, the company aims to avoid the forced sale of long-term investment, providing more stability and flexibility in managing its financial assets. Investment portfolios transfer between. So dito is kapag yung company nag-decides to move its investment around different categories, kagaya ng held to maturity, available for sale, or trading, kailangan nila sabihin sa board of directors bakit nila ginawa yun. This rule is in place to make sure the management has good reasons for moving things around na makakatulong sa pag-prevent ng unnecessary changes. In addition, it keeps the board updated on how these moves might affect the company's income, making sure na lahat ay may alam about potential gains or losses. The importance in accountability and transparency is ini-ensure na yung decisions about the company's investment are well justified and that the board is informed of any financial impacts. Investment portfolios transfer of debt securities among. Authorizing shifts in investment designation out of the held-to-maturity portfolio ensures responsible and informed decision-making. This requirement is makakatulong sa pag-maintain ng integrity of the investment strategy and protects the interests of stakeholders. By involving the board of directors in such decisions, there's an additional layer of oversight and governance, preventing hasty or uninformed changes that could impact the organization's financial stability and objectives. It aligns with good corporate governance practices and helps maintain transparency and accountability in managing the investment portfolios. Marketable equity securities accounting. Sabi dito, when a company buys securities, dapat nilalagyan sila as trading securities. Yung purpose kasi ng paglalagay or paglilabel is to avoid calling them available for sale, which could let the management na hindi i-report ang short-form changes in the investment value sa kanilang kita. This stops the management na baguhin ang resulta ng kanilang kita sa pamamagitan kung paano nila i-label ang investment nila. The next is, all losses on security designated as available for sale shall be considered permanent. Normally kasi, yung accounting rules let you avoid recognizing losses on such securities by assuming na sila ay temporary lang. This policy requires an immediate write-down for all losses, preventing the management from manipulating earning by preventing losses are temporary. The last one is, it also says that you should not sell available for sale securities just to recognize gains in their value. Kasi hindi pinapayagan ng management or nakasaad ito sa accounting rules na don't let you count gains until you actually sell them. Purpose nito is para ma-prevent yung temptation to time the sale of securities to manage earnings. This policy aims to set a standard to stop such actions, pero sa reality, mahirap ipatupad ito dahil maaring makahanap ng dahilan ang management to sell securities when they need the unrecognized gains for bookkeeping.
Investment management procedures. Investment management procedures are essentially a structured way of handling investment. Kind of like a step-by-step guide to handling your money wisely. Picture it as a roadmap that guides both individuals and organizations in making smart choices about their investment. Firstly, it starts with figuring out what someone wants to accomplish with their money. Whether it's savings for retirement, buying a home, or just making their money grow. Once they set their sights on these goals, they create a plan, like drawing up a road for a trip. Then comes the second part. Picking the right investment that match their goals and how much risk they comfortable taking. It's a bit like choosing the perfect tools for a particular job, but the journey doesn't stop there. Keeping a close eye on how these investments are doing is crucial. It's a bit like setting your progress on a map during a road trip, making sure you're heading in the right direction, and just as you might a road, if there's an action or traffic during a trip, making adjustment to your investment is necessary too. This ensures they stay in line with your goals and adapt to changes in the financial world. The main goal is to see those investments grow and reach your desired financial goals while being careful about the risks involved. It's like nurturing a plant. You watch it grow and adjust how you care for it along the way to help it thrive. Certainly, the investment transfer procedure outlines the steps involved in executing investment transaction within an organization. Here's a breakdown of each step. The first one is to create a cash forecast. The treasury teams begin by creating a cash forecast, projecting the organization's future cash inflows and outflows. This forecast helps in determining the available cash for potential investment. Next, let or propose investment on cash forecast. Once a potential investment is identified, the treasury staff record the proposed investment in the cash forecast, ensuring it aligns with the available funds and the overall financial strategy. Next, approve investment recommendation. The proposed investment recommendation under goals is communicated with the treasurer, who assesses its compliance with the investment policies, risk tolerance, and financial objectives of the organization. Approval from the treasurer is crucial before proceeding further. Next, obtain investment quotes. The treasury staff seeks and gather quotes or proposals for the investment from various sources, aiming to secure the best possible terms and conditions for the transaction. Next, issue investment authorization form. Upon receiving necessary approvals and relevant information, the investment manager issues an investment authorization form detailing the specifics of the investment transaction. Next, mass authorization to transaction report. The treasury team verifies and matches the detail provided in the investment authorization form within the transaction report, ensuring accuracy and uncertainty before proceeding. Next, forward records to accounting. Once the match is confirmed, the treasury stops forward the validated records and necessary documentation to the accounting department for further processing. Record investment transaction. The accounting staff record the investment transaction in the organization financial record, documenting the inflow or outflow of funds and ensuring proper accounting treatment. Next, documentation for transfer. The assistant controller documents the rationale or purpose behind the investment transfer, providing a clear and comprehensive explanation for the transaction. Next, record changing portfolios. The general ledger accountant updates the organization portfolios of investment accounts, reflecting the changes resulting from the completed investment transaction. So this structured procedure ensures that the investment decisions are made diligently, in line with the organization's financial objectives, policies, and regulatory requirements, while maintaining accurate records and documentation throughout the process. Investing cash is a crucial responsibility for a treasurer, and this chapter offers valuable guidance in navigating the multitude of strategies, controls, policies, and accounting matters related to investment. Amidst this vast landscape, key considerations should remain at the forefront for treasurer. The first one is investment policy. A robust investment policy stands as the cornerstone. With a substantial amount of cash at stake, the risk of inappropriate investment is high. To counter this risk, having a detailed and regularly updated investment policy is paramount. This policy should adapt to the evolving needs of the company and the ever-changing investment landscape. Second, return is least important. While returns are enticing, this shouldn't be the sole criterion for investment strategy. Overemphasizing return could potentially elevate the associated risk, leading to substantial losses in the principal amount. It's essential to strike a balance between return and risk, prioritizing the preservation of investment capital. And use all controls. Given the significant cash volumes involved, the risk of investment fraud or inadvertent incorrect investment looms large. Robust controls serve as a safeguard against this risk, ensuring that investment align with the defined policies and strategies. In essence, the primary goal of the treasurer in investment management is safeguarding the principal amount while achieving a respectable return is desirable. It doesn't outweigh the critical importance of ensuring no loss of cash. Therefore, the investment strategy should revolve around this fundamental objective of preserving the principal amount.